Hey guys, and we are back for another lesson video for week 3. So today we're talking about lesson 5.1. This is going to be your 5A that you'll see in your Google Classroom. So we're going to be talking about percent increase and percent decrease. So just remember that your percent change can be found by taking the amount of change and dividing it by the original amount. That can also be new minus old divided by old. So keep this in mind because this top part is going to give us the amount that's changing and the bottom is going to give us our original amount or the old amount. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with some examples now. Okay, so we have Amber got a raise and her hourly wage increased from $8, so we have $8, to $9.50. What is the percent increase? Okay, so again, this is considered our old amount or our original amount. This is our new amount that we need to find the change of. So I'm going to take that $9.50, subtract $8 from it, and then I'm going to divide that by the original 8. This is going to give me 1.5, and then I'm going to divide that by 8. So again, we're going to go back to our handy dandy calculator. We got 1.5 divided by 8, and that's going to give me a decimal of 0.1875. Okay? Now, whole point of this is for us to find a percent increase. So how do I change a decimal to a percent? Yep, I'm going to move this decimal 2 to the right. So by moving it 2 to the right, I get 18.75%. Typically, you're going to want to round these percents to the nearest percent. So if I have 18.75, I can go ahead and round that to a flat 19%. Okay? So I can say that Amber's percent increase for her salary wage was, or her hourly wage, is 19%. To go from $8 to $9.50 is going to be 19% of an increase. Okay? So the same thing goes for percent decrease. Okay? Nothing changes. There's no different formula. We're still sticking with the same formula. Okay? Only thing you're going to see is that when you do that percent change, or the amount change, it's going to actually end up being a negative number. That's going to help you see, okay, I'm dealing with a percent decrease. So David moved from a house that is 89 miles away from his workplace to a house that is 51 miles away from his workplace. What is the percent decrease in the distance from his home to his workplace? Okay, so our original amount or our old amount is going to be the 89 miles. He's now moving to a house that is 51 miles. That's our new amount. So I'm going to take that new minus my old, and I'm divided by my old. So when I do 51 minus 89, I'm going to get a negative 38, yeah? No. 51 minus 89 is going to give me, negative 38. And then I'm going to divide that by the original 89. So this negative here helps me really see I am dealing with a percent decrease, because that means that I'm going from a higher number to a lower number now. So I'm decreasing the amount. So I'm going to take that 38 and divide it by 89. And that's going to give me a negative 0.42, and we'll round this to be a 7 because it's 4269. So I'm going to round it to the 7. Okay. Now again, this is a decimal. I want to change it to a percent. So I'm going to move the decimal 2 to the right, and I have a negative 42.7%. And again, if I want to round that to my nearest percent, I'm going to get a negative 43%. or I can say a 43% decrease. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the negative and just say that it is a decrease. Okay, so that's all that we're essentially dealing with when it comes to percent increase and decrease. Okay, so another part that we're going to go over is using percent of change. Okay, so I'm going to erase this here, and you're going to have to listen closely for the example. So the grizzly bear population in Yellowstone National Park is 1,970. Wow, let's start that back over, okay? The grizzly bear population in Yellowstone National Park in 1970 was about 270. Over the next 35 years, it increased by about 115%. So what was the population in the 2005, okay? Now, first we have to find what that amount of change was, okay? So we already know what the percent is. I'm going to now multiply that by my original amount. So I'm going to take the original amount of grizzlies, which was 270, and I'm going to multiply that by the 115%. So again, I'm going to change that percent to a decimal so that I can multiply it easier. So I'm going to change that to be a decimal to be 270 times 1.15. So when I multiply 270 times 1.15, it's going to give me about 310.5 grizzlies. So again, we're dealing with an object that is not really calculated as a fraction, right? We can't have half a grizzly just hanging around somewhere. So that means I'm going to go ahead and round it. I'm going to round it to its nearest whole, which is going to be 311. So I'm going to round it to about 311. So that's the amount that was changed. That's not the amount in 2005. What do you think I'm going to have to do now? Yep, I'm going to have to combine this amount I solved and my original amount together. So when I add those together, I get 581. So that means that in 2005, there's going to be 581 grizzlies based off of this 115% increase, okay? So do not forget about the work that we have going on. So for this lesson, 5.1, there is an HRW that is due. That is your grade for this week. But please keep in mind the rest of the work that you guys have to continue practicing on the different concepts, okay? So I look forward to talking to you guys on the office hours, which again, 9 to 9:20, lied, 9 to 9:15, okay? And then if you need me by appointment in the mornings from 8 to 8:30, and on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 6:45. Remember, those are by appointment only. You can schedule a meeting with me in Google Calendar, and I'll get that, and we will set up a time frame, okay? So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.